All right, so we're coming to the horse's mouth right now. Maury, I really want to know what happened in Vegas, you know? What year? And you're out of my shot. Okay, that's better. Remember, find your light, dear.
I'm going to say 98, late 98. Las Vegas. I was there. The AVN Awards. There were events and a lot of pomp and circumstance.
Okay.
The Who's Who was there. And I was at the top of my game then.
Okay, and what was Lake Vegas?
Oh,
Then?
I think the Bellagio was newer then. Don't Wikipedia that. It was the first time I went since the Bellagio was the big deal. I want to say maybe that visit was the Palm Room was new. So that should date it for anybody who knows some Vegas Strip history. The Palm Room was new, I recall.
So, who was Maury at the time?
Maury was a big fish in a small pond. Maury was still new, but talented and had already lived the example of that. The successes were strong footholds and upward mobility and possibilities and opportunities was very ripe at this particular time in Vegas.
So, when did you realize that this wasn't just a hobby?
When I put my first $3,000 in the bank. And I said, well, this beats making fishing lures.
Yeah.
Rubber worms,
Yeah,
Rubber worms.
We'll have to get to that story for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So, tell me about what was your first big break?
Psychologically or in the business?
I don't know, you tell me. We're talking about Vegas and being
We're talking about Vegas,
so.
right. So I was kind of a self-made. I infiltrated the business as a voyeur, as a complete total fraud from the beginning. But I came in as an honest student, and it's like going to vaudeville, I imagine, or something as a poor waif, with no home, no family, and you come upon the circus, and you decide, I want to join the circus, and I'm gonna travel with the circus, and I'm gonna live my life with the circus. That's what it was. And so I got to the big tent, Las Vegas.
Yeah, and we're kind of talking about that because you're entertaining the circus again. So maybe going back to the circus. So tell me about or describe the biggest crowd that you ever played for, or something that stands out.
The biggest crowd I ever played for, it's probably a couple of hundred. I was always very boutique in that regard.
Maybe anybody famous?
Oh, certainly celebrities were always in the house from time to time, from Sting and Gene Simmons and Kid Rock and Glenn Danzig and Trent Reznor, plenty of sports stars.
Okay. What did fame feel like at its peak?
It felt warm. It was nice. I felt proud of myself. You know, comfort, recognition, that sort of thing. It does have the blade has two sides. So, what you can do with the blade can also be done to you.
Okay, so, did you ever feel unstoppable?
Yes, I did. It's funny. Drugs will do that. Money will do that. Youth will do that. Sex will do that. And all of those things stacked on top of one another will definitely do that.
Okay. So, speaking of which, what was the hardest part about that lifestyle?
Getting out of it. Realizing that it's not sustainable for a family. It's not realistic for ever. It takes a special person to be able to survive in that environment forever. And hats off to those who can. It's like those fucking war veterans with the amazing stories. They're a special type of person. Not everybody can do that. And the average person, no. It's you need to find a way in and a way out, because it can consume you and you can become institutionalized by it. So it is a tricky, slippery slope.
Did people change around you once you were known?
Yes. Being recognized in the local community, outside and just wandering around is a weird thing to have happen to you when you're not promoting yourself in that way. Like if I'm not on billboards or I'm not trying to be out there, hey, look at me, right. Here's Maury over here, check it out. And then somebody goes, oh, you're Maury. Then that's expected. But when you're not like that and then somebody comes out of the blue and more than one person comes out of the blue and says, aren't you so-and-so, that's an eye-opener.
You have told me stories about some of the access that you've had, VIP, go in through the kitchen sort of thing, of, clubs and restaurants.
Yeah.
But what is something people glamorize that wasn't glamorous?
The aftermath. It's always the scene of the access and the ramping up to the event, and I was there and the story, but then the aftermath is usually can be, the greater the story, the harder the hangover. It's always like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what made you walk away?
I knew several things, actually. One is I enjoyed it and felt so much at home there that I could see myself doing it forever. But I knew that I didn't feel confident that I would weather it well.
So was it one moment or a slow realization?
Coming into it initially, I knew, all right, had made a deal with myself that it was going to be a temporary experiment, because I never really honestly felt like I could make a living at this business. And as it turned out, I was very successful at this business and could indeed make quite a good living at this business, and did for as long as I so chose. And I could have continued, and it could have even been more epic. And I think that was one of the questions that you were kind of steering me towards.
Well, I'm not there yet. Did you feel, once you made the realization, did you feel relief or regret or both?
When I made the realization that I didn't want to be in it forever?
Yeah.
No.
Walking away.
It was extremely hard. And for years, I struggled with, because when I was first introduced to that lifestyle, it was so brand new. I had to learn everything. So it was like becoming a black belt or something. It like takes years to get really good at it. So when you do get good at it, you're kind of deep in the cult at that point. So it's very hard to walk away. You're giving up a huge investment.
Okay, we'll go ahead and elaborate a little bit more now that you're sitting up.
So, relief, regret, or remorse. All three, actually. All three. So, I think you asked me what point did I decide, and I think it was when I decided that I wanted to have a family. So, I had to find a way out. In my estimation, not to say there's plenty of people, successful people. Again, it's one of those people that are built for that sort of thing that's unique. If you can be in that business and have that kind of lifestyle and have a happy, cohesive, awesome family, there are a few that can do it, and that's great. I didn't. I was going to want to give my best foot forward, that I thought that I could offer a family if I was going to start one. That's it.
Would you do it all again?
Would I go back to the business if I could? If when I was back then and making my choices then, hell yeah, I would do that shit again. If I knew that it was going to work out the way it worked out. Yeah, it was totally fun and an awesome experience, and I learned so much about people and myself, and like being an artist and things being real and in the moment, and just weird, and working out of the weirdness and being normal in the weirdness. It was it's like, yeah, I imagine astronauts walking in space come back to Earth and they say, you don't understand until you've been there.
Well, what do you think Vegas, what did Vegas teach you about yourself?
That I did have limits, and there was a line that I would not cross. And part of me feels chicken shit because of it, and another part of me feels like, you know what, you were protecting yourself because you knew better, and you knew better of yourself. And when you are given a golden ring, you have to understand what all the responsibility of taking that ring could mean. And sometimes a more conservative approach at life can be an investment in a longer future.
Who are you now compared to that man?
I am hopefully much more the man that I was hoping that man was going to get himself to, which is more conservative in the sense of, preserving the longevity and understanding the investment in that and the preciousness of that and how important it can be. So, would I have given up the thrill of the experience and the frivolity and debauchery and all the things that came with that? Absolutely not, because if I was, a mountain climber, I would want to go to the peak, right? So I ended up where I ended up, so I wanted to go to the peak, and I think that I pretty much did.
Yeah. So thank you for allowing me to have my first interview. And I think I'm going to start a new thing with, if this goes on, I'm going to ask you a couple rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
And I just want one sentence.
Okay.
So this
So
is
like
just
top 5?
during this time.
Okay, just during this time. What do you got?
One sentence. What is your biggest lesson?
Of this interview or in
From
life?
No, just from the Vegas experience.
Oh, my biggest lesson from the Vegas experience. That particular or all collectively, because I went to Vegas many times.
The decision that you decided.
Okay, so my biggest lesson from having made the decision was, I felt protective enough of myself not to go that close to the edge.
Yeah.
I knew I could see the edge, and I would have gone over probably.
It was supposed to be one sentence. Okay.
Ah.
Best night ever.
In life or that Vegas trip?
Jesus Christ.
Because the Vegas trip did have, I wonder if that was the time. Well.
Okay, we'll put it to 2 sentences. It's going to have to be short. It's only a 20-minute interview.
Strippers, sushi, porn stars.
Okay.
Yeah.
On that note, we'll end with one thing you don't miss.
One thing I don't miss? Ugh.
Yeah, after you named all that.
Oh, it's hard to say. One thing I don't miss. The hangovers, I guess.
All right. Thank you.
My pleasure.